Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to my final draft of the Powered Cube this time around, since tomorrow we have the Lorwyn Eclipsed Early Access event. Very excited to hop into the new set, but for now, we'll see if we can't end things off giving this cube the swan song it deserves. See if we can't end it off with a sweet deck. If I had my pick here of any deck in the draft, I would love to draft an artifact-based Tolarian Academy deck, but if somebody else is drafting it, we'll have to just take whatever we're getting past. We'll see. We'll see what we can do here to end off the cube drafts. Anyways, let's get into the pack one, pick one here. This is not an exciting start. This is not an exciting pack to open in cube. It's just like a Triumph for flexible fixing or one of the cheap spells. Cheap removal like Discharge, Path to Exile, maybe Mana Dork like Hierarch. I think this pack is all kind of weak enough. You can take whatever you're the most partial to. If you really love Green Ramp, you can take like Hierarch here. I'm going to grab the Xander's Lounge and just get a Triome for the most flexible card out of that first pack. Pick two, there's the Upheaval. If we want to completely force the artifacts deck, you can take this alongside a bunch of those Talismans and Moxen, and then you just dump a bunch of mana rocks onto the board early, and then you tap out, say like pay 10 mana, spend 6 of it on Upheaval, and then 4 of it recasting all your mana rocks, and you'll win the game from there because your opponent will not have a bunch of mana on their board. So that's really fun if we want to just force that completely. But we haven't actually played Reanimator this time either, and Xander's Lounge gives us blue-black fixing, which is the best kind of Reanimator color pair, the best colors that you want to have access to be a Reanimator deck. So I feel like it's probably supposed to be Reanimate. Strictly trying to win. And then also just because we haven't played that deck this time around either. So we'll take Reanimate here and see where the draft goes from that. Pick number 3, there's another Triumph for flexibility. There's some great cheap red removal like Flame Slash and Suplex. And then there's some filler reanimation targets like Carnosaur and Grave Titan. I would prefer the Carnosaur because it has a built-in way to shove it into your graveyard, but neither of those are like the premium, really good reanimation targets. Like they're not Atraxa or the Archon of Cruelty or whatever it's called. There's a great aggro card with Adeline, but not what we're doing right now. I'm just going to grab some really efficient removal like Flame Slash. This just fits into any red deck really well, be it super aggressive like Boros or super controlling like our blue-red control deck we did with VV. It just fits in anything in red. And you do want to have a good chunk of interaction, whatever you're playing. Another blue-black duel here. There's also Harvester of Misery, which is another one of those consistently reanimatable cards. So they're fine filler in your reanimator strategies just to get them ticking a little more consistently. They don't lead to the most explosive blowouts like the really big targets like Atraxa, but they do make your deck consistent. Like that Carnosaur back there, so I don't think that's a bad option either. Kyoshi is one of those somewhat blowout reanimator targets. Bunch of damage immediately with haste because of the land that you're untapping and attacking with. Plus, it's got hexproof, so they can't stop it from doing at least that one Earthbend trigger. Underground Sea, though, like the best blue-black duel, is huge too. Just gonna take fixing real highly this time. We get a Necromancy here, or a Recurring Nightmare, as well as 2 more Reanimator targets. I think we're seeing enough Reanimator targets to grab the Necromancy. Just guarantee that we have the spells to reanimate things, and then we'll wheel some amount of these reanimation targets. So grab Necromancy here, although the Theater's really good. The Surveil lands are great in Reanimator because they set up 2 of your colors, and if you see one of your big creatures on top, your reanimation targets, you can shove it right into your grave without having to spend a card to do so. Blue-black dual Watery Grave looks awesome, but so does Consult the Star Charts to help you draw what you need consistently. Unburial Rites is a bit of a slower reanimation card, but you can reanimate 2 things with it, which is nice. But I certainly prefer the cheaper, like Reanimate and Animate Dead, 1 mana, 2 mana reanimator spells. We already have 2 this early into the draft. I think I can pass Rites. I'm just gonna really dot my I's, cross my T's, and make sure we have the fixing we need to get our deck rolling. And then again here, get a Triome. Titania's pretty sick for the green fetch land oriented decks. There's Life and Death, the 2-mana reanimate target. There's that Bossing, say. I got a little bit of that stuff out of my system with our green-red draft last time, but I really wanted to be able to have, like, the full-on lands draft at least one time in this cube. Sadly, we never got Titania, so we didn't live the dream of like Titania, fetch lands, strip mine, bossing, say for the Earthbend to keep recasting your lands too. Didn't get to do that full thing, but again, we also didn't get to do Reanimator, and this is looking like a really good draft pod for it. We have Reanimate, Death, and Necromancy now. 3 different ways to reanimate cards. Here's a perfectly fine reanimation target. Grab a Carbomination. Pick number 10 now. Get a black-red duel. Man, this would have been a good green lands pod 2. There's the Ramanap. Now Grave Titan or Suplex. Grave Titan is really quite a filler reanimation target. I'm going to go Suplex here. More interaction. We wheel the Avatar Kyoshi. For a huge reanimation finisher, we wheel the Atali for another one. I think I can take Atali over the Theater because of the fact that we are actually playing red here. We're like Grixis Reanimator, to where this is also like hard castable in the late game. I would take the Theater as fixing over like the Avatar Kyoshi for sure. A reanimation target that we could only reanimate that's never castable. Probably not playing either of these. Last pick, Titania. So this would be the pod I could do the Titania nonsense. There's no way I could shove that together with the Reanimator deck, and we already have a consistent Reanimator shell. Lotus Petal can let us cheese stuff out early, which is kind of sick. Grim Monolith also fast mana for that. Vampiric Tutor's super consistent. If we have the reanimation spell, we tutor for the targets. If we have the target, we tutor for the spell. Mind Twist is really rude interaction. Fable the Mirror Breaker. If we're a red-based deck here, if we're Grixis, this can also help because it gives us a really solid way to discard our reanimation targets. Just get a 2/2 that makes treasures, then discard 2, draw 2. That's a very valuable way to ditch those targets. I'm going to take Fable here. And it is worth mentioning, Show and Tell theoretically good in this kind of deck because you will be flashing your own thing in, but I have found in my experience too many decks are trying to cheat things into play. This is a very risky card. If you both cheat a card into play off of your Show and Tell, then you're kind of down a card in that exchange, not to mention if they also just have Swords to Plowshares right after you do it. They just swords you and get their card out for free without tapping any mana. They didn't even have to tap the 3. Here's a sneak attack. Since we're in red, we can also sneak attack all our reanimation targets into play. Beautiful. It is slightly sad to have to take it over Archon of Cruelty, but I think it makes a lot of sense with how our deck looks here. But that Archon is one of the best reanimation targets. So I don't think that's going to come back, but maybe like Woodfall Primus will, if nothing else. Okay. More fixing here. Blackcleave Cliffs, River Pyre Verge, Multiversal Passage. We don't technically have a single blue spell yet. I just usually play blue with the Reanimator. We just take another black-red duel then. I don't really want to play Wishclaw Talisman. You kind of have to win the turn you activate this thing for it to be good, which Reanimator's sort of trying to do, but not exactly. It's not like a literal instant win. We do got to take interaction highly. Let's grab Go for the Throat. Deal with what our opponent's doing. Damnation looks fine. If we end up against Boros, that'll be really helpful. Also, just absolutely gorgeous artwork from the Silent Hill artist there. Yes, I will draft based on how much I like the artwork. Chandra, Fire Nation Occupation, or Steam Vents. I don't actually really like any of these all that much for Reanimator, because Chandra's Plus is pretty bad in a Reanimator deck. I guess the secondary plus of getting some mana is fine. I'm just going to grab Steam Vents. We still don't know if we're splashing blue, but I'm just not excited about the on-color cards. I am excited about Fire Covenant. You have to spend a lot of life for this potentially, but it can be multiple removal spells in one card. The Boros deck goes 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. You go pay 7, kill all of them. Force of Negation. Without enough blue to ever exile a secondary card, that's actually pretty rough. So I'm just going to play Voldaren Epic here. It's another way to ditch a reanimation target, put it in our graveyard off the blood token. There's that show and tell, everybody agrees. That is a risky card. I'll take Lotus Petal here over Wasteland. Could have been the Titania Wasteland Dream. I'll probably draft a little on my own. On my free time, on my phone. And see if we can pull off the Greenland deck then. I guess that wouldn't be we, that would just be me pulling it off. None of you are invited to that. It's too late. Wield the Primus, not the Archon. To be expected and kind of sad. Although, to be fair, the Primus is a really good sneak attack target because of the persist. It'll get the haste damage in, get its enter effect, die, get its enter effect again. You blow up 2 of their lands when you sneak attack that in. This is really not a Lilia deck, but I'm just going to put the Talisman straight in the sideboard for now.
May the gods bless us in our righteous cause.
Pack 3, pick 1. We got a Mox. We got Mox Ruby. Oh, we could have had Wasteland Strip Mine Green. No, Fast Bond. Come on in, Mox Ruby. Fast Bond, Strip Mine, Ramanap Excavator. I'm gonna eat all your lands. Pack 3, pick 2. We could splash in Dak Faden. I have an absurd amount of love for this card. The splash is like free. We have 4 blue sources, 5 blue sources. Yeah, I'm splashing in a Dak Faden. I mean, literally anybody who sees a Mox is going to draft it and play it. So anytime you're ever against a Mox, Dak is pretty dang good. Just play it and steal their Mox. I will take Dak over Bitter Triumph for Polluted Delta, but these are the safer and really solid picks. Lorien Revealed as well. That's another kind of like fetch land sort of spell, which is interesting. Although this deck can't hardcast that often at all, so the fetch land's probably just better. Virtue of Persistence is a card I'm pretty into because it gives you early removal that gains life and a finisher, but Fear of Missing Out is yet another way to discard one of these big reanimation targets, and we're going to be running multiple that we can't cast, so they'll be stuck in our hand if we don't have a way to ditch them. So I think we really want to take ways to ditch them highly, so I'm going to take Fear of Missing Out over Virtue of Persistence, and I doubt Virtue will wheel. Inquisition of Kozilek's really nice in the opening hand as like your first play of the game. We're certainly not a Carnage Interpreter deck. And that's kind of it for other options. I guess I could try to Palantir people into milling my reanimation targets. That feels a little narrow. We have 7 lands, so this is 22 non-land cards. We just need to find 1 or 2 more spells that are playable, and we will have a deck. I guess 2 more because Mox Ruby is our just an additional land. It's like our 17th land. Liliana is a great way to ditch your reanimation targets. Each player discards a card. You're happy to discard your target, and they are not. So Liliana here. Exploration and Crucible. Go with the strip mine stuff.
Happy to help, but I'm taking the credit when we win.
I mean, Cube is super powerful. Every single time you draft Cube, there's going to be at least 2 other decks that are just more than open enough to make a really powerful deck. Like, what if I like forced the mono green strip mine deck, and then I'm looking at all the reanimator cards like, oh, look at how good the reanimator deck could have been. Library doesn't strike me as unplayable in reanimator. Because imagine you have a 7-card hand, you play this, draw your 8th, and then just discard the hand size. But Grief is real consistent. I'm going to take Library anyway. I really like Library of Alexandria. This is another card I probably play a little too often. Hey, this is why you splash blue in Reanimator, baby. You get past a flash insanely late, which is great in this deck. Just flash any of these things in if they're stuck in our hand, and now they're not. Kind of wish I took at least like one more reanimation target. Just having the 4 is a little low. Ivora is actually kind of good in here. We're discarding a lot. We just want a beefy creature. Probably Currency Converter. Yeah, I'll go Currency Converter. This is another card that kind of triggers every time you're discarding stuff for value. Okay, I'm not reanimating an artifact, so I'll take Bitter Triumph for more interaction. I'm not sure we're getting a 5th target at this point. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Dark Confidant is so risky, but it's the only on-color card, so I will take it and put it in the side. Nothing for us. I'll reanimate a Nova Hellkite. It'll be fine. I'll reanimate a 5-mana 4/5. Look, we had the Safekeeper Titania combo too. Probably saw Zuran Orb too, but whatever. Okay. Reanimator, Sneak Attack, Flash deck with not that many options for what to flash out or reanimate or sneak attack out. Do I even run Titania at that point? No way. No way. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Okay, we're not running Green Sources Arena. Let's not be crazy. 17 lands as well as a Mox Ruby is 18 lands. Cut down on one of these for sure. I'll just cut a basic for now. We'll figure out our colors later. 4 cuts to go. I don't think I'm cutting any creatures. Slice is our least efficient removal spell. Occupation doesn't seem great. We have a few instants, but not enough to try to go crazy with that. I think I got enough interaction to cut like a Burst Lightning. Just keep Flame Slash, Suplex, go for the throat, Bitter Triumph. That seems fine. Still one more cut to make. I mean, honestly, now that I have Sneak Attack and Flash as well as the reanimation stuff, plus Liliana discarding cards, plus Dak is +2 discard 2, I probably have more than enough ways to make sure I'm getting value out of these. To not need like Epic here discarding a card. Because I have Converter as well, also can discard cards. Yeah, no, we'll get rid of one random way to discard. Kind of the filleriest of those, which feels like Epic here. So drop that. And then we've got a deck. Grixis Reanimator, lacking a little bit on finishers, a little bit on reanimation targets, but maybe we can make up for that when Atali or Carbomination hits something good, if we're lucky. We'll see. Let's double check our mana base here before we hop into things, but this should be a fun way to end off the cube. 10 black cards, 9 red, and 2 blue. So 10 black cards up front, that's the most important part. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 black sources, and then red we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 11 black, 8 red, 5 blue. Could cut another black for another red, but I have more double black than double red in this deck. So I think I'm going to keep the black as high as it is for Liliana and Damnation. Yeah, alright, call it a deck here. Hop into the gameplay and see how far our final powered cube draft can take us. Here we are on the play for game number 1. Reanimate being a sorcery makes it a little harder. I guess I can Bitter Triumph, discard a Tali. Yeah, I guess I'm just not using Library here to ditch a Tali. Okay. Yeah, no, this is a great keep. We just don't use Library, I guess. We just Inquisition them. Keep them off a counterspell for the Reanimate, and then we try to Bitter Triumph here. They got Green Sun's Pillage, Terra Sunder, Cub. Just kill the Cub, right? Could kill the Green Sun Zenith. That's just going to be a mana dork, though. Their hand doesn't look like it does a whole ton without Cub. And then I just Bitter Triumph the mana dork for Atali to go in my grave. And they will have the Terra Sunder for the Atali, but we'll take them some time to get there, and they won't have the Terra Sunder for whatever else the Atali casts alongside it. They don't play the Green Sun Zenith. Well, shoot. I guess if I sit here and play nothing, I am working towards Library of Alexandria, if nothing else. There's Once Upon a Time. Grabs a 6. I'll take it. If they just play Mountain 6, good enough for me. Green Sun Zenith will be the play. For the hexproof and carry added, how do they know? Well, that's what library's for. Do they have anything to exile a card from my grave right now? Not on their board. Or not that we've revealed. There's 6. Caracas. Caracas is also pretty rude. Huh. That is astronomically rude, actually. I might still reanimate a Tali to draw another card off library. Towards mana. Because I need to draw a card right now to play a land right now. If I Bitter Triumph, discard Avatar, I'm down to 6 cards in hand, and I don't draw off of library. Actually, and I'm paying the 2 also. Alright, this is going to be painful. This has got to hit something good. Hello. Thank you. That was incredible. Could not have asked for much better. There's land for turn as well. Oh my god. The dream. And then the extra draw means that I will be discarding to hand size, although Dak can just discard these. I don't actually have another way to reanimate them right now. There's a Necromancy. Alright, good enough. I have Carbomination still for sneak attack. Yeah, I don't need to hold on to them. Discard 2 cards. Definitely not. Man, let's ditch Fable and 1 land. Okay, definitely not all of our mana, I should say. As long as we have the 4th, so that we have Damnation or Sneak Attack next turn. That's good enough. I could tear the Tyrant asunder, which would exile it, which would stop the death trigger. Anamorphose, land for turn. They do exile the Tyrant. Makes sense. 6 attacks, Dak Faden. Mills 3 picks up a land.
I'm innocent.
Ignoble Hierarch. I really don't mind just Damnation here. I'm just gonna do it. They can Caracas their 6, I guess. I still have to recast the whole thing. This is kill both mana dorks and bounce 6. Land. I do want the second red. Second sneak attack. Play and activate sneak attack in the same turn. Sentinel of the Nameless City. Crack the map. At this point, we just bitter triumph the Sentinel for life payment. And I'm going to Necromancy here instead of Librarying. Would I rather keep an 8/8? I can have an 8/8 permanently, or I could just get an Atali trigger and then have an Atali in hand. Let me check this text again. When this enchantment leaves the battlefield, that creature's controller set. But if they bounce Atali, it goes to my hand. Okay. I'm gonna choose Atali then. Because if they put Atali back in my hand, I just go sneak attack Atali next turn. Just leave their Zenith in exile. I'm gonna stop plussing Dak. Well, actually I could plus Dak for the converter. Yeah, that was sloppy. I forgot about the converter Dak combo. I don't care about draw 2, discard 2 anymore at this point, but tucking cards away into converter is not bad at all. There's 6 and a Sentinel. Here is sneak attack Atali. A second sneak attack and a flame slash. Okay. I've got a backup. Sneak attack Kerbominum. Is the fatal push? Has one of my permanents left the board this turn? It says entered exile this turn, but the trigger looks purple, so I think it has. Wait. Has revolt triggered? I don't remember anything leaving my battlefield. No, nothing left my battlefield this turn. Okay, just take the halfling. I wonder why it was like slightly glowing purple there. Okay, we'll put cards under converter this time.
I'm a talented improviser.
Non-lands create 2/2s. Lands create treasures. Do those two. Get a 2/2 on blocks at worst. Pest Infestation, the sneak attacks, and get a couple. Oh, get twice that many 1/1s. Ew. That's really good. 4 1/1s is wild. Liliana's really bad against all the 1/1s. Still discard cards from their hand, though. Land off the top. Getting really low on cards in deck, but I gotta draw something better.
I overheard some juicy gossip.
No more distractions. Let's make this quick. Don't overthink.
Just dump the whole hand so I can Liliana make them discard a card while I'm empty-handed. They have 13 cards left. We have 11. This might come to mill. I don't remember how many more win cons we have. We have Woodfall Primus and Nova Hellkite. Those are probably enough if we find them quick. Neither of those are legendary, so they get around Caracas, which was the big problem we were having with Atali. And our green one. Our green win con. Avatar Kyoshi. But because of the hexproof again, Kyoshi would get 188 to stick around. Pillaged Bog essentially searches their entire deck at this point. Triome is the draw. We dig. Flash and a land. Those are not good draws. Those are not my Woodfall Primus or my Nova Hellkite or my reanimation spell. So we dig again. There's the Nova Hellkite. Okay. They have no cards in their hand. I'm gonna minus Liliana. Okay. Now let's see. They get the best card left in their entire deck. Because that's literally the whole deck now. They have 11 cards. They're looking 14 cards deep. We have 7 cards left. There's probably a world in cube drafts where you start plussing Dak at your opponent to try to mill them. Yeah, I could have plus Dak at them just to mill them too. Since they were empty-handed, and that's just straight +1 target player mills too. At that point. Let's see what their best card is. Barrowgoyf? It's a very good one. It's a very, very good one. FOMO just straight draws a card. Lotus Petal. What are our final 5 cards? Reanimation Spell, Removal Spell, Primus, Land. So 3 of the 5 are immediately very impactful. I mean, I guess I can't really cast Primus. I have 2 green sources, Converter and Petal. The life gain from that Barrowgoyf is gonna be awful for me. I guess we're on the mill plan.
I overheard some juicy gossip.
Yeah, at this point we're just on the mill plan.
I'm tired of your secrets.
We're not outracing 6 life gain a turn. Yeah, now they're milling out faster than us. They're on 6 cards, but we put them to 4 off the next trigger of Dak Faden. Scavenging Ooze is very good, but doesn't beat the Dak Mill. They hit that right before we hit death. That's so sad. Is there any world where life kills them? I could play it off Petal Ruby and then have 6 1/1s. That's not enough. They're 13. Yeah, no. So this doesn't do anything because they hit Scoos right on time. Okay. We still have a plan.
A little looting never hurts.
This puts another creature under currency converter, actually. So it's not useless.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Oh, I guess because Scoos it is. Yeah, that's true. They have 4 cards left. I guess I should have just minus Liliana to kill the past tier. Since the plus didn't really do anything. They have 3 cards left. They reorder their top 2 however they want, but then I'm just going to mill them both anyway. So this is just gain 2, essentially. I think I only have treasure under this now, sadly. Yeah. So we just need to not die one more swing. Or through one more swing. That'll probably do it for us, right? It's an instant as well. So they reflection try to copy somebody and I kill whatever they try to copy.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
It depends what their final card they draw is here. If their final draw is like a removal spell on Hellkite, then I think we die. But like they try to reflection Barrowglyph in response, I spend 7. I'm at 4. Block Skoos, take 2 and survive. I like exactly win. If they draw a blank. Kill that, that stops both of the Barrowglyphs, and then I just block the ooze. Number of card types summon cards in all graveyards. There's already an instant in a graveyard, I'm sure. Yeah, so we just need to do 7. Block ooze, take 2. Oh my god, what a wild game of Magic. We had really good reanimation stuff going on from early that game. I feel like that should have been a much easier win. I mean, that was a pretty cool way to end it, though. Pretty crazy way to mill out with Dak Faden. My god, yeah. 1-0 it is. A very long start to this draft. My love for Dak grows larger. Here we go, game 2. No red source. We do have Liliana on 3. Discard Atali, but also no reanimation spell for the Atali anyway. Mulligan that. Same hand, but we have red now, so keep. I might ditch Liliana in this hand, weirdly. Inquisition into Warp Hellkite, Grabomb later. kind of think that is the choice. But Liliana for the -2 is still good, even if I don't draw reanimation cards. I can't get rid of a land, though, with a 5 and a 6 in hand. Get rid of the Hellkite. Oh, no. Well, there's reanimate, so happy to have the Lily. Our opponent goes fetch land, Mox Ruby. So they are starting the game up a mana immediately. We'll see what Inquisition finds. Another Mox and a Palantir. So we get rid of the Palantir and they just have nothing. They have mana and a Metamorph that can copy mana. Okay, so they're 100% playing off the top. If they draw anything good, we have a huge problem because they're going to play it early off of the mana acceleration in their opener. But their hand as it stands doesn't actually do anything. And then they top deck Demonic Tutor. So they find the best card in their whole deck and put it in their hand. Yep. Yeah, that's cube for you. The mental damage of thought seizing somebody and then them drawing the best card in their whole deck. It would be objectively hilarious. Okay, that's pretty hilarious. I respect that. I respect that so much. That's so sick, though. Demonic Tutor for Booster Tutor. Just like, yep. We're gambling. Alright, well. Cool. Voidwalker destroys our deck. All of our cards go into exile. And then they top decked the Phantom. Oh my god, I'm gonna bust. Okay, we top decked Damnation. So now we might be okay. I was gonna Liliana and make them sack one. We have to kill every single copy to actually be able to get to our reanimation stuff. Let's see what they top deck this turn. Because we know they drew Voidwalker into Phantasmal Image. Into the counterspell for Damnation. Now they just metamorph a Voidwalker. Because they top decked the Damnation counterspell. This is crazy. I think we Liliana first. I guess it doesn't matter. We need them.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come.
We want them to keep the artifact one on the board.
One of your friends has to leave.
This way, hopefully they sack the one that dies whenever it's targeted for anything. Yes. So now the only one they have left is the artifact one. And then I can Dak Fade in it.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
They drew an instance again. Not another counterspell, please. Not another counterspell, please. Oh. 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 So now I can just sack the Voidwalker and cast any of these. But then they cast any of those and then they just use it against my card. I guess. But I have to play the blocker here. We're trading Voidwalkers or they're casting a spell. So just cast the Liliana and kill my Voidwalker with it. Yeah.
Nobody knows Dominaria's shadows like me.
Any land, and we're
I've
Carbomanomen.
always hated crowds.
Perfect. Okay. Land on top. Image engrave. Hello there. Land on top again. Force negation there. Plus Liliana, ditch him to Torok. Kill Liliana, because if we don't, she kills one of these next turn.
Knew this was a waste of time.
One land draw from the Satali. Brainstorm. Draw 3, so they get to have the best card out of the top 3 to cast this turn. The other 2 they'll draw later. Oh, it's their own reanimation spell? Oh, Abhorrent Oculus. That's really bad for me. A flyer that's making a blocker every turn? Yep. Okay, it's Ollie. Barrowgoyf is the hit for a lifelinker. Is this face down a flyer? Is that what the GG from opponent is? That would be absurd. Okay, the GG was Atali kills them. Oh, the way they drew after we thought seized them into the demonic tutor and then the void walker and then the image for it and just so on from there. Then the counter spell to protect it from damnation. I was really expecting this to be a flyer. They just flip it up and kill us. That was an insane game of Magic. Because from like turn 2 onward, they were 100% playing off the top. They just had fast mana in the opener and that was it. And then they were chilling. They were rolling forward for a bit there with those void walkers. Yeah, we got very lucky to hit the Carbomination Atali stuff in the late game. I mean, we had the Carbomination in the opener, but wild games of Magic today. We are 2-0 now, heading into game 3. Solid opener here for game 3. All we need is to find a reanimation spell for this Kyoshi. We have multiple ways to ditch it. We're just going to FOMO turn 1. Get the blocker up and ditch the Kyoshi. Looks like we're against Boros, or at the very least, red-based aggro. They start with Figure of Destiny. It is Boros. Here's Generous Plunderer. Which could give us both a treasure each turn. Deck could be good later, but doesn't do anything now. Let's Verge. Honestly, Fire Covenant's already quite good here, so let's hold for that. I guess if I cast it while they were tapped out. If they play a haste creature, it was better to wait. But it was better to cast while they're tapped out if they don't play a creature pre-combat, because now I have to spend 4 to kill. Because I have to spend extra on the Figure of Destiny. Because they could spend the 1 to make it a 2/2. I take 2 damage if I let Plunder in, so I take 4. Yeah, I think I should have just spent 3 during my turn, because now I have to spend 4. That was loose. We lost 1 extra life for that. For no reason. And there's FOMO. We got Liliana for that. Yep.
No more distractions. Let's make this quick. Sacrifices must be made.
Protect Liliana from haste here. Menace haste. Well, can't protect her from that.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Can boast the treasure at us for what, 2 damage? Yeah. There's Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which gives us a 2/2 that would die to Bombardier's sacking. So what if I Dax steal their treasure so they can't shoot something for 2? Is that insane? Because then they just respond by sacking the treasure anyway. It's gotta be better to draw 2, discard 2 with Dax still, right? We have no land engraves that also gets FOMO going for the bonus attacks. Yeah, it's gotta be better to still just plus Dak.
They look like an easy mark. Isn't the unknown exciting?
Hardcast Abomination. Soon is the plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 mana. If Fable sticks around, we get the treasure there. Almost tempted to ditch Fable too and just keep this treasure to play Abomination next turn and then be able to hardcast a Tally later. This might be insane. Just gonna keep those. Bombardiers and token at Dak. Be happy with that. Dak just soaking up all the damage and getting us some good card selection. Was a fine turn from him. Good stuff. Play a tap land, play Makdi and Itlar. Creatures and artifacts under tapped now. There's Death on Kyoshi, which will enter tapped, but the 8/8 will be untapped. I lose a lot of life to do that, though. I lose 8 life to do that. I'm not sure I can afford that. I go to 8 life against the Bombardiers that could sack something and shoot me for like 4 minimum. I think I have to crab over that. Entering tapped here is really rough. Ooh, Sage of the Skies. Oh, it's not casting though. Is it? Yeah, you may cast it. Okay, that's huge then. That's the second spell. It is casting. Beautiful. Attack and untap a lifelinker. Sage of the Skies was a really good hit. Showdown of the Scalds. That's a draw 4 for our opponents. Mana Vault, Nova Hellkite, Robber the Rich, Ocelot Pride. That's a lot of haste damage. 2/2 reach haste, 5 mana 4/5 flyer haste being one. Terrifying. Just take another 2 here. Go to 14. They're at 14 as well. If they block our 8/8, I think Fear of Missing Out kills them if I cast Death. Okay, yeah, they just kill Fear of Missing Out. So Death kills them, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only need to deal 5 more damage, and I deal 8 more by casting Death. All right. That was incredible. I was pretty worried when we saw that Bombardiers, but luckily they just kind of doing one card a turn. Shutting off the, or having creatures come in tap 2 was potentially scary, but we drew very well. Particularly the Crow Abomination hit was perfect. Getting that lifelink there was really nice. And 2 more creatures, enough stats to kill them the next turn. Super lucky game. We are now 3-0. Heading into game number 4, at least a 50-50 record to end off these Powered Cube drafts. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 4. Very interactive hand. So I'll keep it and just try to stop our opponent from doing anything too horrifying. They start with a blue-black dual land. They've got a loot tree in exile in the companion slot. Blue-black-white, there's Talisman of Dominance into Beaumont Courier. The Beaumont Courier blue-black-white deck. Interesting. Well, I can't go for the throat that Courier. I've already got the Covenant that can kill multiple creatures off one spell, so I think I'd rather suplex the Talisman than the Courier here and just Covenant away the Courier along with whatever creature they may play soon. We've now got a Necromancy, but no way to discard this Atali. Just put a loot tree in hand, poke me for 1. Watch I Inquisition the loot tree. Yep, because they have Karn, Urza, and loot tree, so what are you gonna do? I've never had an Urza be on board long enough to know what on earth it does, but I'm pretty sure it's just we kill it again if it shows up. Okay. Sneak attack Atali is a plan. So when this enters, create a construct, power tap and equal number of artifacts. Control tap untapped artifacts for blue. 5 mana, shuffle your library, exile the top, and you can play it without paying its mana cost. Okay, so yeah, Urza is a complete and utter nightmare. Essentially. I think I have to just hold removal up then and try to wait till 5 mana to go play plus activate sneak attack together. And I just shoot myself in the face for a lot here. I think we wait to see if they activate Karn again first. Oh my god.
Great things, you and I.
Okay, this Karn is not making any more creatures. Then let's go ahead and Covenant now then. So 1 artifact's gonna die. These are gonna be 2/2s. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1 plus 4. So 5. Plus 1 of these needs to be shot for 2. But then once one of them has been shot for 2, the other one will be whittled down to 1 again. So 1, 1, 2, 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 2, 1, 1. Daze mana up, and they can't have Force of Will because they only have 1 card before this resolves. Cool.
You may regret that choice.
They get an artifact or an artifact. Can have the Talisman. Because it doesn't tap for any color. Library's the draw, which allows me to sneak attack, kill Karn first, right? And then we have a Talion Grave for Necromancy. Oh my god, we hit Primus. Good grief. Just blow up both of them.
I'm sorry, but I must tend to my creations.
They've got a Talisman and one unknown card now. There's Talisman. Land for turn. Creeping Tar Pit's a good one. If there's any land, that's going to be good. Tinker! Gets go for the throat. Oh, that's their best Tinker target? Damnation's a good draw. It's because that thing can get indestructible every turn. And then I could Primus kill the Tar Pit. Yeah. Kill both their unblockable threats. That could have been a lot worse for us. We are really lucky they didn't have a better Tinker target than that. Whew. Alright. Close stuff yet again. I mean, we may be undefeated so far, but they've been crazy games. Some close stuff, some great decks from our opponents. Some great plays, but we've been drawn straight gas. We are 4-0, guaranteed a positive record out of this draft, no matter where things go from here. All right, here we are on the play for game number 5. We're going to do a turn 2 Fable the Mirror Breaker off of this Lotus Petal. Get closer to the draw 2, discard 2, or discard 2, draw 2, and hopefully in the meantime we draw something to ditch for reanimates, but we didn't draw anything yet. Maybe in our next draw step we will. Our opponent starts with Library of Alexandria, so they are going to draw a lot of cards throughout this game. I respect it. I am also a big Library of Alexandria fan. Yep, and they're on the draw as well, so they get to draw immediately. Turn 1 with that. Red deck, discharge the Fable token, but it'll give us a second creature eventually. But no mana acceleration, no treasure tokens here. Alright, well. Land Damnation doesn't sound crazy to me. I mean, they are on red, but if they're playing Library, it's probably more of like a Grixis or Is It Control than it is some kind of Boros deck. I'm gonna ditch this Damnation here. Dig for something immediately impactful. Play our own Library because it's funny. And then cycle a Xander's Lounge. Oh my god, they're a Boros Library deck? Guess I should have kept the Damnation. That's wild. This is going to be difficult to compete with then. Normally, like, Boros plus Library is just not going to work well, because you need to dump your hand fast, but Library needs you to hold on to your hand. But the way this game started was really nice for the Library. They played it well. So we Inquisition them. Gets them farther off the Library, and then we also Flame Slash. I mean, if I top deck any reanimation target off of DAC, then DAC plus and then reanimate is pretty big, but I think we need to go interactive first. We can still do the DAC plus reanimate next turn. Swords, Abrade, Robber. Hit the swords. so that when I do get a reanimation target, it's too big for them to deal with their removal. Slash Ragavan to stop them from drawing extra cards, and now they're gonna Abrade Reflection and play Robber probably. And Robber is another one of those cards, like it's the exact opposite of Library. They need less cards in hand than us for that to do something. So that's good for us. That means their Library is not going to work now, and their Robber's not going to work now. Thanks to Inquisition. And because they have Robber, I'm just running out this land. Okay, they're going to Braid. They went for a tap land over hasting out the Robber. We'll take it. Alright. Worst case scenario, Dak soaks up some damage, but we're really hoping Dak finds a target.
Helping hand.
Perfect.
Talented improviser.
Take a lot of damage for this, but worth it. We know they don't have removal in hand that can kill a 6/6 unless they top decked it within the last 2 turns. Showdown of the Scalds, they did not find it. They're going to cast a draw 4. Monstrous Rage, Hell Rider, Fable. Those are scary cards. Suplex the blocker kills them though. They're actually already dead. They're already, this card's insane if it survives a turn. I'm like, wait a second, don't we just get another 8/8? We sure do. We get an additional 8/8. They block one of them and take lethal. Good lord. That was a weird game of Magic. We've had a lot of interesting games today. Maybe that wasn't the most interesting ending. Like, these are ending the same way we always do with Reanimator. I reanimated my big thing and won. Yay. The start of that was really weird, where they were getting a bunch of like Library of Alexandria value. So it's like this slow back and forth, and all of a sudden they're Boros and then Ragavan and like aggro cards come out. I was like, ooh, it felt different. I enjoyed that. I liked the different change of pace. Cool deck from opponents. But another victory for us that is undefeated all the way into the money. We are 5-0 leaving this draft with more gems than we spent to enter, no matter where things go from here. All right, we got that Dak doing some digging. We got to get blue mana for it, but Currency Converter can give us the treasure tokens and dig us towards a blue land, so we keep this. Another red deck, yes. Okay, a Ragavan is still annoying because Ragavan can cast stuff out of our deck against them, and then they don't have to spend cards to commit to the board if they're casting creatures out of our deck instead, which makes Damnation weaker. But if they just curve out naturally and don't cast anything from our deck, then Damnation's still going to be awesome here against a more aggressive strategy. Yep, Ragavan into Amped Raptor. And I could turn 3 Damnation off of the... Oof, Raptor hitting Chain Lightning is some damage for sure. I could turn 3 Damnation off the treasure from Currency Converter. I don't think we're Flame Slashing when the plan is to Damnation next turn. Although, if I don't draw another land, Currency Converter, I have to discard a non-land card, and then I only have 3 mana, not 4 for Damnation. So we're praying to specifically hit a 4th land so I can discard this, play a land, and crack the treasure for Damnation. Maybe I should just slash Ragavan, it's a slightly safer option. So we have no guarantee we're hitting a land here. I'm gonna slash the Ragavan. Preordain, scry 2, draw 1. Focus to 13. Play a Mox Jets. I mean, if they don't play a land... Okay, they did play a land. I was going to say if they don't play a land this turn, then that was essentially just, like hitting a their land for turn. Discard a Tolly, get a 2/2 out of the converter. And I've got double blocker here. And then next turn I go land Damnation. That can't be good. Manamorphose. Means they're casting something color restrictive this turn, which is usually something pretty strong. Mind Collapse, the fear of missing out. Sacking a land too. What are they gonna like crack the treasure, play a balance or something? Crazy? I mean, obviously I'm gonna stop as much damage as I can, because this could also just be them trying to push towards lethal. And then they unholy heat that, they're just gonna hit me down to 9. That is aggressive. Alright, well, it's just Damnation and hope that stops whatever this plan is. 1 card left in hand, they went that aggro with it. Rampaging Raptor, that would explain it. I could die to that if we don't hit sneak attack mana. Whew. Blow up all of their mana and have a 5/5 up for Raptor. Lucky, lucky, lucky draw. And then we DAC their Mox. Oh, we don't have blue. Unless we top deck a land for converter. It's probably better to Bitter Triumph discarding DAC, and then I get another 2/2 and I don't have to worry about Raptor. Yeah. Yeah. Seven damage on the board, not quite lethal. It's a very safe draw. I maybe should have held the 2/2 back to stay safe against the Haster. Because now a 5 damage Haster would kill me, but then I drew the go for the throats now. It wouldn't. Lavamancer doesn't do it. All right. Really, really good recovery there. Very lucky to hit that land exactly when I did. If we missed that sneak attack mana, we were dead. That is 6-0. We are running so hot, drawing so well. We're completely undefeated all the way into the final battle of this draft. We've got a final boss here where we have 3 attempts to get a trophy run to end off the Powered Cube drafts this time around. This is a risky opener because if Liliana's not here to discard these things. I mean, I've got Currency Converter and Liliana. We could miss some lands and die, but we have a Suplex on the first creature. We have Converter digging through the deck and discarding these things. Yeah, no, this is a keep. It's definitely a keep. Fear Missing Out's another way to ditch one of these, and I can ditch it without having to spend any Converter mana and get a card under Converter, so that gets me a 2/2. Converter into Fear Missing Out is such a good start for this deck. Really good defensive plays. I think I discard the Kyoshi first. Primus is the better, like, sneak attack target. So we could keep it in hand in case we find a sneak. Krabamanum. Alright, FOMO, find me some mana, please. Not mana, but not a bad card. Urza Saga. Opponent's on a very good start. Bunch of colors, and now that Saga to get extra value. Duress hits Liliana. Basically the only card Duress can hit. Which puts Liliana under the converter, which is perfectly fine. I mean, not great, but fine. No, they hit the Fire Covenant, so they're planning on playing a bunch of creatures then. There's Malevolent Rumble. Put a Triplicate Titan into grave, get a spawn, put a Nadu into hand, probably. They're going to do some egregious Nadu combo nonsense, probably. Oh no, they just need mana. Right? They probably have reanimation spells of their own if they're running Rumble. So that is sketchy. That's a draw. Sure. Top deck of champions. I mean... if I take their Triplicate Titan, they don't have it to reanimate, but then they can like reanimate our Avatar. I'm just going to do the Avatar. It's haste damage. 2. Okay. They're done. That's Reanimator. Also, probably very tilting, as we experienced it from the other angle. Duress the opponent, and then they top deck Reanimate. Great. What am I supposed to do? I tried to hand disruption you, and then you top decked Reanimate for your Avatar Kyoshi. It happens. All right. This was a fantastic deck. Hard to argue with a 7-0. In the Mythic queues. Yeah, I think this deck was really good. This was a super fun one. It was very consistent at getting these things reanimated or getting them cheated into play because we had multiple ways to reanimate them: Necromancy, Death, and Reanimate itself, as well as some ways to cheat them out like Sneak Attack and Flash if they got stuck in our hand. We never got to use Flash, but Flash is pretty good with Primus and great with Crabomination and Atali. The only card we had where Flash is not actually good is with the Avatar Kyoshi there. Flash actually at the best with Primus, because that's the one that sticks around on the board. The Crabomination and Atali, it depends on what we exile and what we cast for free. But if we manage to hit a creature off of these, then obviously that's just as good. If we get some permanent stuff still on the board post-Flash. So we had 3 really good Flash targets, 4 really good Sneak Attack targets, 4 really good Reanimator targets. That made all of these different ways to cheat them into play more consistent. And we had really good drawn discard going for those. The Dak Faden, Currency Converter, and Fear of Missing Out were all showing up very consistently to help us out. We had some other ways to do it as well, but didn't use those as often. Fable the Mirror Breaker could be a discard 2, draw 2. Liliana could make each player discard, but they just kind of showed up less often as the discard outlets than the other cards I mentioned. Yeah, I mean, you saw the gameplay. You all know how it works. Just a fun day of cheating in Magic the Gathering. Just cheating stuff out all day long, getting real lucky draws, and winning some games of Magic. I will say Library of Alexandria, the biggest underperformer in this kind of deck. In this deck and in this kind of deck in general. It is much better, as you saw it playing before in our like blue-red control deck, when you're the kind of deck that does have other card draw spells to go with it, or just a lot of really good one-for-one interaction, like counter spells and removal spells. If you have a deck of just a giant stack of counter spells and removal spells and a library, then any library opening hand is going to be almost a guaranteed win, because you just get to play the library, draw an extra card every turn, and then you're okay to one-for-one everything your opponent's doing. It's like they try to cheat out their avatar. You're like, I'll spend 1 counter spell, and then I'll draw an extra card this turn, so I'm up a card from where we were at. And it's like they try to do this thing. It's like, okay, I'll burn spell that, and then draw another card. I'm up a card. So that blue-red deck, I think, was the best Library of Alexandria deck that we got by far. These kind of decks are not great with Library of Alexandria because there's a lot of opportunities where you want to cast a bunch of spells in one turn. Or you want to discard stuff out of your own hand. Like when you're Lilianaing yourself, you're not going to have 7 cards in hand. When you're Mox Rubing or Lotus Pedaling for a surge in mana, you're not going to have 7 cards in hand. Doing a lot of discarding, trying to find the right stuff. So not a great library deck, but that library was pretty late, so I don't think it was insane to take it there. So that's going to end it here. We got to get to recording those Lorwyn Eclipsed Early Access drafts for you all. That'll be the videos starting tomorrow. Very excited for the new set. I hope you all are as well. I have my fingers super crossed. That set looks really, really good. And if it plays as well as it looks in terms of how well it plays in draft, then it could go down as maybe one of the best sets of the year. We'll have to see. Super, super pumped for it. I am optimistic for sure. But as for now, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.